Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back. I'm Jeannie and I can't even believe we are almost in the new year. So in today's video we will be doing a New Year's Eve set, but we're going to make it extra blingy. So when I was looking for inspiration going through my swatches, I saw these colors from iGel Beauty. This is from their Ooh La La collection. We've got New Year Countdown and Upscaled, and I thought they would make the perfect blingy mani. So I'm really excited to use these colors, and we'll also include some stamping using these two Maniology plates that I have that I thought would be a really fun addition. I'll also be using my iGel Beauty dip liquids, and as I'm holding my Liquid Chaos Trio from Chaos Concepts, I'm realizing that this color matches New Year Countdown so well. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I always try to match my bottle holder to my mani. I mean, I've got a lot of bottle holders in a lot of different colors. They don't always match perfectly, but I always like to color coordinate them, and this one was just so perfect. I'm going to be doing my normal dipping process of 2 dips of color, capping in clear. So I'll be using New Year Countdown on my index finger and thumb. I'll use Upscaled on my ring finger and pinky. And then for my middle finger, I'll do an ombre of both colors. And then we'll get into some stamping. So I figured while I'm doing that process, we could just chat a little bit. So I hope you all are enjoying the holidays and have been able to enjoy some time off. I'm taking some time off of work, which I've been really loving. So I took the week before Christmas off and I am off until the new year. But unfortunately, I'm not like completely off. So there have been things going on at work that I've been having to kind of pay attention to. So I'm checking emails a couple times a day. I'm responding where I need to. So it hasn't been fully off, but it's still really nice to not have to focus on work, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for these next couple of weeks. So it's just been nice to kind of decompress a little bit and not be fully focused on work. Although I wish I could completely disconnect, but that'll be something I will need to do in 2023. So, if you do celebrate, I hope you had a nice Christmas as well. It was very different and unplanned for me here. So, typically what we do is we'll celebrate Christmas Eve with my in-laws. So, typically we will travel up to my in-laws, we'll have dinner and then open presents. We will go to my parents' house after that, spend the night, and then on Christmas morning, my brother and his family will come over, and then we'll do lunch and then open presents, and then, me and my husband will come back home. But this year, that was the plan, but we woke up on Christmas Eve morning and we were going to go get ready to go to my in-laws, and we realized that the heat was not working. And I know there are a lot of places that are a lot colder than where I am, but the night before, it'd get down to, I think it was like 9 degrees, which is ridiculously cold and a lot colder than that's normal where I am. So it was very cold in the house, and there was a little bit of panic because it was Christmas Eve, so we didn't know if we could get anyone to come out, and much less, how expensive it would be to fix the heat. So I did some calling around. One of the companies that I actually got a hold of, they were so busy because obviously we were so ridiculously cold in the state that they had a lot of calls, and they said their technicians could come out probably between 9 to 11 p.m. that night. And then if they couldn't make it out, they would come on Christmas morning, which was just like, ugh, I really don't want someone to come out Christmas morning. And I really didn't want to wait till like 9 p.m., 11 p.m., whatever the time is for someone to come out and be cold all day long. So, I waited, I called around, I was trying to find anyone else I could call to see if anyone could come out any sooner. So I actually did finally get a hold of a company who was able to come out in the afternoon. I think it was like probably maybe like 3 p.m. or so. So at least there was still daylight outside. And let me tell you, it was the easiest and most expensive fix ever. So luckily there was nothing serious wrong, but it turns out that there is a condensation pipe that runs from the furnace in the attic on the outside of our house and then drips on the outside of our house. And it turns out that it was so cold that that pipe actually froze, and it actually caused the heat to stop working. And so that was a really expensive trip to thaw out our hose, but still very, very thankful that it wasn't something more serious where we needed like a new part to order or a new unit altogether, because that would have been super expensive. So definitely grateful for that. But that kind of put a damper on our plans for seeing our in-laws on Christmas Eve. So then we decided, well, we'll just scrap Christmas Eve because it was already late by the time they were done. So we were just going to move everything to Christmas Day, where we would just still visit the in-laws, but not really do anything formal lunches or anything, just, visit for a little bit and then do lunch with my family on Christmas Day. And then on Christmas morning, though, my husband woke up and he wasn't feeling well. So then we ended up staying at home, which was a little bit of a bummer because I love, being able to see our families over the holidays. But that's just going to shift. So we'll just shift that to the next weekend so we can see everyone. So I guess really, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be on the actual holiday as long as you can spend time with family. So I am really still grateful for that. So I'd love to hear how you're spending the holidays and if you've been enjoying them. And then if anything special to happen to you or if you're doing anything special, feel free to drop that down below in the comments. And then we are almost in a new year, which I can't even believe. It is almost 2023. I have no idea what happened to 2022. It just flew by so quickly, and I know I can't be the only one that feels that way. So we won't be doing anything special. I'm not really big on crowds, to be honest. And honestly, I feel too old to go out and go to a bar or a club anyway. So we'll be spending that at home. But I'm curious, New Year's resolutions, do you do them? I kind of stopped doing New Year's resolutions quite a while ago because I always felt like they were large expectations and I was always setting myself up for failure. So I would rather just set some goals for myself and not necessarily tie it to the new year or like a whole year. I just like to set goals for myself throughout the year, and that way they're more achievable, if that makes any sense at all. So I think, I'll start out with my new goal for myself would be that I really want to spend more time unplugging from work when I have time off. So these past few weeks I've had off from work, but I haven't truly had them off. I am checking emails, I'm stressing, and that's not really healthy. That's not really time off. So I really want to be better about actually taking time off, unplugging, not thinking about work, and just doing stuff for me. So that will be a big one for me. And then a smaller goal that I have is I want to read more. So when I was younger, I used to love reading, and I've been reading on and off, but I find, in my adult years, it's been more off than on. I just haven't spent a lot of time doing it. And recently, I'd say maybe a few months ago, one of my nail friends in the community really got me into reading again, and she actually got me started on reading spicy books. And I've been really enjoying that and having kind of that downtime. So a goal for myself is to spend a little more time reading because I've forgotten how much I actually enjoy it. So hopefully I can take some time to do that as well. So if you have any resolutions, if you have any goals, feel free to share them as well. I went ahead and filed and buffed off camera, so now we're ready to get into the stamping. So I'll be using these Maniology plates that I will try to link down below in the description. And for this top plate, it does have that blue protective layer that you want to make sure you remove. And then for the stamping, I'll need my jelly stamper and a scraper card. And then what I've got here is liquid latex. So one of the prints is larger, and instead of having to clean up on my skin, I'm just going to paint the liquid latex around the perimeter of my finger, let that dry, and then that way if any of the stamping polish gets outside of my fingernail, it will just get on the liquid latex that I could just peel up for easy cleanup. So I believe I got this on Amazon, so I'll also link that below down in the description. And most products I use, I always try to link in the description. So make sure you check there. And if I forgot, because that does happen sometimes, leave me a message and I will make sure to get you that link. I don't use this liquid latex very often because it does take a minute or two to dry and I'm impatient. But if I'm using like a larger stamping image where it requires more cleanup than normal, I do find it easier to use this liquid latex just because it's so much easier. But I will say if you have a texture issue, you may not like this, or if you're allergic to latex, I definitely wouldn't use it. I have heard of people using their peel base as kind of their protective barrier, but I haven't tried it, so that may be a good option for you. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to work on picking up the images for my other fingers, and as you can see by my paper towel, it did take me a few tries to actually get it the way I wanted it. It's very rare that I pick up an image the first time. I don't want to ruin my mani when I'm cleaning up my plate with acetone, so I do use this little grabber tool from Maniology, and I do have an affiliate code with Maniology, so you can use code PURPLEDIPS10 to save 10% off your order if you pick anything up from them. I didn't really like the color of the first polish that I used, so now I'm switching to Maniology Raven, which is a stamping polish, and it's this really beautiful black polish is packed with silver glitter, so I thought that would look really great because obviously I want a super blingy mani. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a generous amount of polish onto my image, scrape at a 45-degree angle, and then I will gently roll my stamper to pick up that image. You don't want to press too hard. And then if I get any additional images, I'll just remove that with my lint roller. And then I will use the stamper to kind of figure out where I want it on my nail and then press down once I've got it in the right area. And it does move fairly quickly. Stamping polish dries really quickly, so you need to move pretty fast when you're doing stamping. And always make sure you clean your plate before you start on your next image. For my ring finger, I'm going to be using the Stamping Polish Renaissance, which is like an iridescent, pearly, grayish color, I guess. And I thought it would go well against the black. And I should mention, the plate I'm using is Maniology M054. So this is actually a 4th of July plate, but I love the couple fireworks images that they have on there. So that's what I'm using for my New Year's Eve mani. So remember when I said when you're stamping, you have to move fairly quickly because stamping polish dries fast? Well, I spent a little too much time cleaning up this image with my lint roller. So by the time I went to transfer it onto my nail, my polish had dried on me and it did not transfer. So I went looking for my sticky base coat. Maniology does have a air dry sticky base coat. Could not find it anywhere, have no idea where it is. So if you do need something, if you have problems getting your image to transfer onto your nail, you could use the Maniology sticky base coat, or if you can use gel, you can also do a gel base coat, cure that for 30 seconds, and then stamp your image. But I didn't want to use gel in this mani, so I'm just going to move quicker and hope that I can get the wet polish to transfer on my nail, which you can see here, it did stick. So I just had to move faster in order to get my image to transfer. At this point, my liquid latex is fully dry, so I'm going to move on to my Maniology plate M278, and this is really just like falling images. So this one I'm using at the bottom is like confetti, so I thought that would fit nicely into the New Year's Eve theme, and I'm also going to use that Renaissance polish that I used for my ring finger. I wanted the images I stamped to be super subtle because I really wanted the glitters to be the star of the mani. So I intentionally used these glitters in iridescent stamping polishes so that they would not be as noticeable. But if you do want more noticeable stamping images, I would suggest using a solid white or a solid black or some solid color, and that way you can see it more. Now I'm going to peel off the liquid latex using a pair of tweezers, and there's something really satisfying about peeling this off. At this point, if you use gels, you can top off your mani with gel base, cure for 30 seconds, and then go in with your gel top coat. For this mani, I'm going to use a dip top coat. So the process I'm going to use is I've got my Maniology smudge free top coat. So I'm going to apply a thin layer of that to the 3 of my stamped nails, and then I'll let that fully dry, which this is air dry and it is pretty quick. So I'd say maybe 2-3 minutes and then it's fully dry. And once that's fully dry, I'm going to cap these 3 nails in clear, and the clear is going to protect my stamping from the activator, because if I went straight in with activator, it would actually smudge my stamping, which I don't want to do because it took me a few tries to get it right. Once my clear was fully dry, I went ahead and scrubbed it with a stiff scrub brush, and so now I'm going to go in with a generous amount of activator. I already previously did all my filing and buffing and shaping, so I don't have to worry about that. But once the activator is set for at least 2 minutes, I'm making sure that it's hard. I'm going to go ahead and give it a quick buff. I don't need to do much work because I did most of the work previously, but I do want to make sure everything is nice and smooth, so that's why I will buff it. I went ahead and did one final layer of activator, waited a full 2 minutes, and then wiped my nails with a lint-free wipe. And so now comes my favorite part of dip top coat. So what I'm going to do is for the first layer on each nail, I'm going to do 2 to 3 quick swipes on each nail and then wipe off my brush on this lint-free wipe before returning it back to the bottle. And that's going to ensure that I don't contaminate my whole bottle of top coat. And I'm going to do this for each nail. You want to make sure your brush isn't lingering on the nail because you don't want to harden your brush. And then by the time you're done with your 5th nail, you should be ready to go back in with your 2nd coat. And you'll know you're ready because your 1st coat will start looking a little dull and a little wrinkly. And so for your 2nd coat, you can take your time. You can make sure you're getting an even layer on your whole nail. You can do as many swipes as you want, and then make sure you cap your free edge as well. That will help with any chipping. You technically don't have to wipe your brush on the lint-free wipe for your 2nd coat, but I like to just out of habit and just out of an overabundance of caution. But you know, you don't have to if you don't want to. as always, I'm going to finish off my mani by rehydrating my cuticles. So I'll be using Scales of a Mermaid in the scent I Make Poor Decisions. And I usually lather myself in cuticle oil anyway, but now that it's colder, my skin is extra dry. So I'm making sure to put a generous amount not only on my cuticles, but underneath my fingernails as well, just to make sure I'm rehydrating everywhere. And here is my extra blingy New Year's Eve set. What do you think? I actually removed my tips for the holidays, so my length definitely isn't extra, and I'm trying to get used to looking at my natural shorties and dipping on them. But these two dips are definitely extra and so blingy and beautiful, and I am really enjoying them. And I'm so excited I was finally able to get my entire stamping process in this video, because every time I've tried it, I've either been out of frame or my camera stopped recording and I didn't realize. So I hope that was helpful to you. I also want to make sure I acknowledge that it hasn't gone unnoticed that I have finally hit 500 subscribers here on YouTube, and I am just so thankful for you being here and for supporting me, because I definitely wouldn't be doing this without you. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. But it's not just a thank you. So I did say I am planning on doing a giveaway. I will wait till after the new year, till all the craziness of the holidays are over. So make sure you stay tuned, because I definitely want to do a giveaway just to give a little bit back for all the support that you've shown me. And I always want to make sure that I'm providing content that's the most meaningful and helpful to you. So if there's something you'd like to see, please let me know. And it doesn't have to be in this video. You can feel free to DM me, PM me, leave a comment in one of the videos, whatever you choose, just to make sure that I am being helpful to you. And if this video was helpful and you enjoyed it, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue creating content like this, and it also helps YouTube recommend me to others. And if you haven't already, I'd appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing. I upload content every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you're enjoying the holidays. Have a safe and happy new year, and I will see you in 2023. Bye.